William here, Patriot Containers. Today is Thursday the 19th. The title of this video is, why do I know so much information about this cargo container industry? And I'm going to tell you why. How I do it. 13 years ago, I never touched a container in my life, and I got a job selling containers. I was very good at it, but I did not know the companies I was working for were bad. As time goes on, I realized that everything that was coming out of my mouth wasn't true, and it affected my sales so much to where I didn't believe in anything I was saying. So I left, and I had a decision. Do I go do this on my own, or do I work for another company? And I decided to do this on my own. My intentions, or what my plan is to do this right and correct an industry that is broken. Most companies, 90% of companies, don't deliver when promised. They buy cheap, crappy containers, and they're never guilty of their own failures. It's always somebody else's fault, and you'll hear every lie in the book. So I started a business 11 years ago. Started Patriot Containers. Still to this day, I don't have a single complaint from anybody that has ever bought a container from me. And I'm an owner-operator. I do my own scheduling. I do my own sales. I don't believe in customer service. I believe in communication, so there is no customer service. How do I get my information? Well, I used to work for companies just like the companies that I'm exposing. I know exactly how they operate. I know exactly why they fail. And I know the insider outs of everything about these companies. This industry is a very, very small industry. We all buy from shipping lines. There's only a very few shipping lines that container companies buy from. The companies that I'm warning you of, that have created a business that's based off of a trap so they can lie about everything in the beginning, but once you place an order, you're stuck in their trap. And their trap now is cancellation fees, restocking fees, keeping your delivery money. They don't care if you're happy or they don't care if you're unhappy. They will not lose money on their failures. You will lose money. So 10 months ago, I started making videos about this. Well, how do I get my information? Number one, I study these companies. I've called these companies. I've listened to customers that call me and ask me if I can honor a lie that these companies are telling you guys. And it's overwhelming sometimes. That's why I started making my videos about it and actually becoming passionate about exposing and whistleblowing these horrible cargo container companies. The shipping lines that these companies buy from, they don't sell nice. The shipping lines don't say nice things about these companies. I've talked to the shipping lines way longer than these new companies out there ripping you guys off. And we all joke about these companies of how bad they are. And literally every single shipping line that I talk to knows those companies, and we all laugh at them. I also read all their complaints, and it's very repetitive. I am used to what these companies do to you. And I also read the terms and conditions on their website. The terms and conditions on their website contradicts what you guys are being told so you can emotionally make a purchase from these companies, but then you're stuck in their trap because you did not read their terms and conditions. A lot of my videos explain the same old thing. So yes, shipping lines don't say anything good about these companies. Their drivers don't say anything good about these companies. Their complaints don't say anything good about these companies. And when you call them or I'm talking to you on the phone after you talk to them, I could tell you've been lied to. And it's unfortunate, it really is. These companies that I'm warning you of are actually ruining this industry and making it worse. That's the whole point of my videos, okay? But I do watch their social media. I watch with what they're saying. I think it's the cringiest crap I've ever seen in my life, and they're blatantly lying, okay? I do see their drivers. and I do call their drivers, and I have a conversation with their drivers about these companies. Some of these drivers hate these companies and have nothing good to say about these companies, and these companies don't pay their drivers. Therefore, they don't work anymore. So some of these companies that are taking your guys' orders, they don't have drivers to deliver your containers, but when you cancel, they're going to get a cancellation fee. Some of these drivers that I talk to, they're owed like $20,000+ of deliveries that the company never paid the driver for. And now the driver's either A, out of business, or doing deliveries for somebody else. It's unfortunate. It's called biting the hand that feeds you. If you don't pay your drivers, you don't have a delivery. If you don't pay the shipping lines, you don't have containers to sell. So I call their drivers all the time, and they usually never have anything nice to say about these companies. They pick up shitty containers and they caulk up the holes, and then they have to hear about from the customer themselves of what the company said. And it's the drivers getting the brutal end of the unhappy customer. And so if you don't pay your drivers, they don't work for you. Some of these companies that take 1 to 4 months to deliver, these drivers do not trust these companies. So I had a long conversation with a specific driver of all 3 of these companies. He knew them all. He knew the owners. He knew where they originally came from. And he told me that they all worked for a company called My Mini Casa. And I Googled that company. And some of these companies, like there's one company, Pinocchio Rookie, and then another Pinocchio Rookie and another Pinocchio Rookie. They're all linked together. They all used to work for one company. Now, he also told me that one of the employees or business partners of a specific company robbed a church for $2.5 million and went to jail. I Googled it, and sure enough, he's right. But yeah, some of these companies, they all work together and then they multiply, just making crappier companies that are scams, and they're traps that are ripping you guys off. And I told that customer, I sent him my YouTube channel so he can see my videos. We had a great conversation. And I told him, hey, watch my videos. You're going to find out who I am, what I stand against, and what I stand for. And, how do I say this? I have drivers that don't do deliveries for anybody. They only do deliveries for me. And the reason they told me that is because if I'm at my desk and a driver sends me an invoice, I will pay that invoice in under 60 seconds to get the money out of my business account and into my driver. And they're amazed that somebody pays their bills this fast. These other companies, they don't pay their driver for months, or they don't pay their drivers at all. That's why these companies can't deliver your containers. The drivers do not trust these companies I'm warning you of. And so but just hearing this guy, I talked to him for like a half an hour. I was amazed. I said, dude, I want to talk to you more. He was telling me so much insider information about these companies, of where they worked for, who the business owners' names are. I already knew, but he knew them by their name and knew all their employees and knew all the stuff. And he's like, yeah, these companies owe me like $20,000. He goes, one of the employees or business owners robbed a church for $2.5 million and went to jail. I'm like, holy crap. And I Googled the guy's name, Googled the company, and sure enough, the guy is a criminal, So a lot of these companies, they don't start container companies to do what's best for their customers. They start a business to do what's best for their salespeople and their marketing. Their marketing, and I try to sum up bad cargo container companies as this. And I've had conversations with my drivers many times talking crap about these companies. And they basically said, these companies, all they are is marketing. It's a marketing sales business. So they market, they sell, but their terms and conditions that you guys are signing are locking you into a trap. So once you're in that trap, the only way to get out is losing money or being stuck with their crappy service. And it's just always the same stuff. But I'm going to talk to this guy again. I talked to him about going on a recorded phone call and actually talking about this. I actually advised him to start making YouTube videos and calling these companies out by name and saying, hey, I work for this company. They owe me $20,000. They pick up shitty containers and then deliver them to you guys. He had a lot to say. He was pissed. He was pissed. And yeah, I've talked to so many of these drivers that work for these companies, and they never have anything good to say about them. They're just shitty companies that rip off their customers. They know exactly with what they do and how they get away with it. So that's how I know about everything. I talk to their drivers. I read their terms and conditions. I read their complaints. I've called these companies in the past. I've seen their social media. I've heard from you guys that have actually talked to these companies first, and your brain is twisted by the lies that they've told you, and then they want me to honor their lies. I don't honor lies. I tell the truth, and I deliver on the right day, and I don't sell shitty products to my customers. Yeah, it's never ending. But yeah, that's how I get my information. I basically turned into like a investigator, news reporter, where I'm actually going down the rabbit hole, figuring out everything about these companies. And they don't like it. They do not like it. They can't talk about it either because they don't want you to see this. They don't want you to see this information of how these companies have created a scam system to legally or illegally rip you off as a customer. So that's it. I don't want to drag it on for longer. I'm going to talk to this other driver more after he watches my YouTube channel and figures out exactly who I am. And we're going to shoot the shit. I shot the shit with him for 20 to 30 minutes. And it was amazing at the information this guy knew. He actually told me information that I didn't know of where all these people that started businesses originally worked from. I did not know that. I knew this person that started this business used to work for this business, but I did not know where that business owner worked. How did that guy get into this industry? Well, he worked for a shitty company. And if you Google My Mini Casa, you'll realize that these employees all worked for that company. And I guess at some point in time, this company got sued, shut down, and all the employees started a business. So anyways, guys, that's it. I hope my videos help you. I enjoy this. I feel like a news reporter investigating these criminal companies, and I love it. I love it. It's interesting for me. I'm in this industry, but I've watched this industry get worse because of companies like this. The companies that I'm talking to you about exposing, they're not making this industry better. They're making it worse for you as a consumer. Their business is a trap, and they need to be exposed. And I'm endorsing anybody that's out there that ever bought from these types of companies, make a YouTube video. Expose these companies. Do as many complaints as you can on these companies. These companies are not good. And I stand against it, and I'm not, no, I investigate them and I like it. Some of these companies, in a way, a long time ago, and I'm talking about a long time ago, like 8 years ago, one specific company, I used to market pictures with my wife standing in front of containers. They stole my wife's picture and used it on their marketing. I write all the content that's on my website, and I personally write all the content on my marketing from my brain and from my fingertips. It's all written. It's not copy and pasted at all. Some of these companies have actually taken my written content word from word and not changed the thing. And then they take it because it's written so well, and they put it on their marketing. And I've reached out to these owners, I don't know, 5 or 6, 7 years ago to have a conversation, and they cower down and run behind all their employees, and they don't deal with it. And they are cowards. Every single one of these owners that owns these companies, they're hiding. They will not ever talk to you on the phone. They're cowards. And they don't stand behind their own product. The reason they don't stand behind their own product is why they have terms and conditions on their website that allows them to charge cancellation fees, restocking fees, keeping your delivery money. They have a system that's designed perfectly to never be accountable for anything that they do wrong to you as a customer. They might get it right sometimes, but their system is still a trap. And that's the problem with this industry. When you have a company that is based off of a trap, they can tell you whatever it takes to make sales. They can lie about the conditions. They can lie about the pricing. They can lie about your delivery dates. They can lie about their warranties. They can lie about their full money returns and acting like that you're going to get a full money return if you don't like your container. It's all lies. It's all lies. That's the whole point of my videos. But yeah, it's just I'll continue doing this. I enjoy it, and You know, I'm just surprised at how far down the rabbit hole these stories go of how these companies are getting away with basically legal or illegal scams. So, anyways, guys, that's it. Have a good one. Goodbye.